Right, that's in there. Let me just make sure it's going through to YouTube okay.
Let me open the YouTube too, so I can see people's comments and everything.
Perfect, we're live. Well, a very good afternoon. Welcome along to CMV Studio. We're back. We have another artist interview for you. Thank you for joining me earlier on with Francois One Man Band. This time we've got the amazing singer-songwriter from Portugal. This is Sandra Bullet. Sandra, welcome along.
Hey guys, what's up? I'm just open. Okay, here we go. Let me mute myself. There you go. Hi guys. So I was just opening here so I can see your comments. Oh, we have Swans. What's up, Swans? Hi.
Hey, Swans. Good to see you. So, Sandra Bullet, singer-songwriter. How many years in? How long have you been in the industry now, Sandra?
Full time for 3 years. As an hobby for more than 10 years. Around. Well, I've entered a rock band when I was 18, so I like to think that as my official step into the industry. That was yes, when I was 18, so that was around 15 years. Well, we will make 15 years next year, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So what made you get into music in the first place? As you said, you
Yeah.
first started when you
So
were 18. What made you first sort of take that jump into doing the world of music?
that's actually, I don't have an answer for that because I don't know. I've always loved to sing. I started to sing only. Well, nowadays I do a bit of everything. I play the guitar, I mix and master, I do some production, uh, pretty much all over the place. But I started with only singing. And I was a little kid, and when people would ask me, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" and I'll say, "Singer. I want to be a singer." So why, I don't know. I don't have any musician in the family, actually. Um, it's just something that I grew up with. My parents love music, and I always knew. I just knew, and I think when I knew for sure was the first time I stepped on a stage. I was around 12, and I was very addicted to Miss Britney Spears. And
Yes, I
so
know the story. I heard this one in your stream the other day. So for
yeah,
those
I
who haven't
know.
heard of it, I won't interrupt Sandra. I'll let her tell this story, but I'll apologise now. I will probably end up laughing because I know this story and it always makes me chuckle.
It's true. I was super super addicted to Miss Britney Spears. She was 16 and I was 12, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I want to be like her. That's what I want to be." And I had posters on the walls all over, and so I went to sing. We had this competition on my school, and I dressed up as Britney Spears and everything to sing. And I was so excited. It was my first time on stage, and I couldn't even hold a microphone. I've never held a microphone in my life. So let's just say this is the microphone, and I was singing and I was dancing all over the place, and the sound tech was like, "No, please, you have to stay still with your microphone. I sing like this, otherwise I can't do your audio." And of course now I know why, but back then I just thought he was being lame because I wanted to sing. But anyways, okay, so I'll try to sing the microphone, to sit still with the microphone. Anyways, I was super nervous. I was competing with older people than me. I was the younger competing, and I was super nervous before. But the minute I stepped on stage, and the minute the music stopped, I don't know, I was kind of in the zone, and I couldn't tell because that was my first experience on stage. But I was so comfortable, I was so at ease. I even surprised myself, and I sung everything. I was so happy, and then when it all ended, people start clapping, and I was like so nervous again because I wasn't singing anymore. And I went out of that stage, and I was so hyped. I was totally hyped. I've never felt anything like that before. And then I was the winner. I won the competition, and I was competing against older people. I was so so excited, and oh my gosh, that night I didn't sleep. I was so excited. I just knew. I knew that's it. That's what I want to do. That's it. And I can't tell you how. It's just something that it kind of was born with me. So, and since then I remember my dad telling me, so if you want to be a singer, you have to start writing songs. Otherwise, you'll be stuck singing songs from other people. And I didn't want that, right? And so I started to write my songs too. And I was around 13, 14 when I started writing songs, and I didn't even know how to play an instrument. So I was just recording myself, la la la, something like that. And then when I joined the rock band, that I was already 18 when I joined the rock band for the first time, and I start seeing all those instruments. We had a guitar player, we had a bass player, and a drummer. And so that's when things started to get real, because I started showing my compositions. They had some compositions, and it turned out that I really had a knack to came up with melodies. I don't know how. I never had any training or anything. It's just I would hear a melody, and immediately I would start singing something. And I can't explain how that came to me. It was something that was always so natural. And then that's how I started to compose too. And then sometimes I would hear songs in my head, but I wanted to tell them how I wanted the song, but it was hard because since I wasn't playing any instrument, it was hard to explain. And so I started thinking, okay, I have to learn an instrument so I can show better what I envisioned for the song. And that's why I started learning the guitar. I learned the guitar because there was a guitar player, so it's easier to learn an instrument that you see being played in front of you. It's a lot easier. And so I started playing the guitar, and then of course the bass came naturally. And since I was in a band, sometimes you hang out with people and okay, let's sit at the drums and let's drum a bit. And so you end up learning a bit of anything and everything. And that's how I came to be good at different instruments. And then the recording and the mix mastering stuff, it came into my life because I really wanted to record the songs, but studios were super expensive, and guys, they were just in the band for fun. I was the one who wanted to take it seriously and invest money, and they just didn't want to. Didn't want to invest. So I was like, okay, so we need to record ourselves since you guys don't want to go to the studio. And so I started searching, and we start acquiring equipment, and I start discovering, YouTube tutorials. Nowadays with the internet, you can pretty much discover everything. And so that's how I started to mix and master stuff. And with all those skills later in my life, I start going to a lot of online forums of musicians all around the world, because I really wanted to make a living out of music, but I didn't know how. So we were playing gigs with my band, but we never pretty much got anywhere since we didn't have any good songs recorded. So that was also very difficult. Without good demos to show, people usually don't hire bands to play without a good demo. And then there was the thing about availability, because the guys wanted to play for fun. I was the one who wanted to perform live and go further. And they say, oh, 2 shows 1 week on 1 week, that's too much. We don't want to do that. Or rehearse more than once per week, that's too much. We don't want to do that. So I just starting to understand that I had to do it on my own. I couldn't rely on people that didn't want to take this seriously. And so I start searching on forums. I start talking to other musicians how to make a living out of music. And out of there, someone mentioned the freelance market for musicians. I wasn't even aware what was the freelance market back then. Basically, the freelance market is where you just do something for a person and the person pays you back. It's just work for hire. And so, okay, I knew how to sing. I had the equipment to record myself. I could write songs. I could make back vocals. Back vocals is something, making harmonies is something that I always loved to do. And I can make versions of songs. And so people told me about Fiverr.com, and that's a website where I still am today. And up to this day, I already made more than 1,000 works on that website alone, more than 40 different countries. And I'm a top rated seller, which is like the top level there. And it's been such a ride, because I've started with making cover songs for $5. That's how I started. I was making them for free, so I don't mind doing them for $5. I started with that, so because I wanted to grow a name for myself. And then it just grew up from there. People start talking about me. I start having good reviews. More people start coming up, and then I just start bringing up the prices. And it was just like a snowball. People talk about me to one another, and now I even have four generation buyers, which is like, uh, we had the zero generation. Then that buyer told me told oh spoke about me to someone else, and that's a first generation buyer, and then they told me about. So now I have fourth generation buyers, which is really really cool. And it just shows you that that's the power of professionalism and take things seriously. Because sometimes people say, oh, I would love to do what you do, but I don't have your connections. I started from scratch. I didn't have connections when I started. It's just I just never gave up. And that's just my definition. I never gave up. And then it came to a point that I understood that I could make a living out of it. I already had so many orders, so many studio work, that I could make a living out of it. And that was 3 years ago. And then 1 year and a half ago, also on Fiverr, I was reached to a new app that was coming out. It was called Beat Fever. It was a gaming app, but they were starting to have live streamings on their app. And so they contacted me so I could go to their app and stream there. Just hanging out, singing some songs, showing some originals, and that's when my streaming life started too. And that was such an amazing challenge because being stuck on the studio, and I love working on a studio, don't get me wrong, but I did miss that kind of live interaction with people. And that was so great, and the community was great. Back then I remember one show that I had 20,000 people watching, and that was my limit. I remember that. And that was impressive. The chat was boom boom boom, and my social media just rise to the roof back then because I had so many people watching. And then the app changed a lot, and I started streaming. My first contract was streaming every week. Nowadays I make 12 hours. So that's a huge improvement. And nowadays I can't see my music career without streaming. It's something that is so natural for me. It's funny that now on the days when I don't stream, I don't feel good. I don't know. It's just something's missing. The
Yeah,
day
no,
goes by and I'm like, I think I'm missing something today, but I'm not. I don't have any scheduled streaming, but I don't know. It's just the day goes by and okay, it's time to go to bed, and I'm like, today I know something was missing on my day.
no, exactly. I'm the same with. Well, I'll look at the schedule throughout the week. I go, right, I've got something there, and I go, hang on a minute, I've got 2 days off. What's all that about?
Yeah,
2 days off. I don't do days off.
yeah.
And then
The
I'm
only
on
thing
the
that
same as you. Even though I'm not streaming, I'll still be down here in the studio. I'll be sorting out songs, or I'll be
yeah,
looking at
but
something.
it's not the same. It's not the
It's
same,
not,
and I totally get it.
not doing that
I
interaction.
start yeah, no, I start making a day off on Wednesday, so I could, because I think, okay, let me put this day off so I can take care of my emails and see any works that I have to do, because we also have, you know what it is, studio work. Sometimes people ask for changes and we have to go through the thing again. We weren't expecting to do that work, but we have to do it. And so I always try to save a day off to do that. But the thing is that the day off comes and I don't do anything. So because I don't know, it's like streaming makes you organize better, because okay, you have to stream at that hour, so you have to work on the other hours. While when you don't stream, you're like, okay, so I don't have to stream, so I have the whole day. And then okay, you end up procrastinating because
Yeah,
you
you
have the
do.
whole
You
day.
say, "That's all right. I'm not going to rush to get to a certain point in time today."
Exactly.
So you just go,
And
"I'll push it back an hour. Oh, I'll just do that. Oh, hang on, I'll push that back an hour." Next thing you look at it, it's 9 o'clock at night. Thinking, "Hang on a minute, I've got to be up tomorrow morning because I've got an early stream, or I've got to prep for a stream, or I've got some work to finish."
totally.
And then you look through your day, and go, "Right, what did I achieve?"
Exactly, exactly. And
Pick anything off.
especially with creative work, when I have to sing something or do back vocals, that's okay. I know I can sit here and do it. But when you have to write lyrics, it's harder because you have to get in the mood to write lyrics. It's not something that sometimes it does come immediately to you, but sometimes no, you have to be in the zone. You have to be with a certain state of mind to write lyrics, to do creative work. And it's very easy to procrastinate with that, because you say, okay, I'm going to write the lyrics tomorrow morning. And then tomorrow morning you sit in the front of the computer and you're like, okay, I can do this now. I'm not in the mood. Okay, let's try in 1 hour. And then in 1 hour you're doing something else so you can go there. And so I remember when I first got started, it was very hard, especially on Fiverr, because you have to give a deadline to your work. So when people hire you, have to say, okay, I will deliver in 3 days, in 4 days, 5 days, 7 days. And so you have to organize yourself. And it's easy to leave everything to the last minute. And that doesn't work very well.
No.
Actually, it was back then that I got some negative reviews, and I totally understand why I got them. And that made me grow up a lot too, as not only as a musician but also as a business owner, because well, we are freelancers, so we are business owners, we have our own business, and we have to take it seriously. And so right now I know myself, and I know, yes, sometimes I'm not in the mood, sometimes I sit in front of a computer and I'm like 1 hour there and not I can't write one word. But then the other time, I sit in front of the computer and I start listening to the instrumental, and 15 minutes I write a song, bang, it's there, and it's sounding amazing. And then I record. How I do everything is that I can totally record immediately when I'm writing. I always have everything ready, so when the idea comes, bam, I record. It doesn't run away. No, it's recorded there, bam. It's not going anywhere. And so but that's something that doesn't come naturally. Okay, it takes time, and it's very easy to lose yourself in that, especially being an artist, with lack of inspiration is something that I think it haunts every artist. But sometimes it's a blessing and a curse. But
Exactly.
the more you work on it, the more you do works, you start understanding yourself and how you work. And it's okay that sometimes we are not as creative as we should. It's just normal. We are humans, and so we change. It's just like the sea. Sometimes it's calm, sometimes it's crazy. So we just have to kind of tame all that thing we have inside. And
Perfect.
I just want to answer that question Swans asks.
That
What
was
was the
literally
first
what I was
song?
just coming. That was just what I was just coming on to. Saying I've just seen a question pop up in there. What was the first song that you wrote? Wait,
Yeah, so Swans, to be honest with you, I don't even know. I think it was a song called Why. And that's a song that I wrote for my first crush. I was on high school, and I think that was the first song I ever wrote. But that was the first song I wrote. I wrote the lyrics. Okay, I didn't have a melody, but that was actually the first song that I did with my band too. Because actually, we were trying to work on another song, on another lyrics that I had called "Bad Situation." And then the guitar player said, "Oh, I did a guitar riff for this song," and he started playing something very joyful. And I was like, "No, this song is called Bad Situation, it can't be joyful." And I was like, "Oh, hold on." I started listening to it, and I was thinking, "Oh my gosh, that could be the other song I have called Why." And that was the first song we did together, and it was the first song I wrote lyrics. The first song with lyrics and melody that I made is called "You Still Are," and it was a lot inspired by that song from Shania Twain, "You're Still the One." But yeah, it's "You Still Are."
yeah.
The melody is different. I know the title is very similar, okay, but the melody is different. And that was something that came to me. I remember when I recorded, I started going like, hmm, 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 hmm. So that was the first melody I ever composed. And I remember showing to the guys on the band, and they were like, "Oh, that's so lame. We don't want to do that." And I was like, "No, we have to do it." And I
Yeah.
forced them to do it. And the guitar player hated it so much. So he played the song very badly. He did just win one chord. He just did it to please me. I know, poor
Yeah.
guy. But then we had other guitar players, because our first guitar player, he gave up playing the guitar. It changed a lot in his life. So we had another guitar players, and the third guitar player we had, he absolutely loved that song, and he wrote a completely different guitar riff. And I just love the vibe of that song. It's kind of jazzy. It is super cool. And actually, guys, I see Jason there, and I see Chris, and I see Carmi. Guys, thank you so much for being here. I'll be showing those songs on my next show on Saturday on Sessions. on my promoted show, I will be making a special show where I'll be showing some of my earlier compositions and also showing early demos and early videos. Very embarrassing, I may add, but I will show them anyway.
Oh, I can't wait for that
So
show.
yeah, I think it'll be so cool, and because and there will be, like I was saying, next year it will make 15 years that I joined that band, and I really wanted to celebrate with an album with like 15 years, 15 songs, because we never recorded our songs, and it's something that's kind of stuck in here. I really want to release those songs and finish those songs because I think we had an amazing, amazing pop rock vibe, very, very, I won't say childish, but very innocent, very teenager. And I really miss the simplicity of those songs. And I really wanted to dig into those songs again and also record those songs properly within my new studio and release that album next year. I think that would be so, so cool. So I can't wait to show you guys at least early demos. So that's what I'll be showing on my next show on Saturday.
Oh, perfect. So, as you said, you covered sort of the pop rock side of things, and people that know you from
Yeah.
your streams know that you've got a vast array of song requests on there. 200 and
It's
what?
more than 225 now. I don't even know for sure because, every time somebody shows me a song that I know, but it's not on my song request list, I add it. So, yeah, you it's I know that it's more than 225.
Perfect. So, out of those 225, there's obviously hundreds of styles of music out there. What style of music do you enjoy working on the most? If someone said to you, you can have to pick one style of music, and that's the only one you could work on, and you said, right, yeah, I enjoy that style the most, so that's the one I'm going to pick. What would that be?
Rock, definitely. That would always be rock. It's funny because, like I say, I was very addicted to Britney Spears. Britney Spears is, of course, mainstream pop, but it's the moment I discovered rock, and I discovered rock with Linkin Park. And when Hybrid Theory came out, I had this friend who introduced me to them. They say, you have to listen to this CD. He made me take that CD home. I didn't want to take that CD. And he was like, no, you will take it and you will listen to it. And you'll see it's very good. I say, oh, but I listened to snippets of it, and it was like, that's people screaming. I don't want that. I don't want to listen to that. And he said, no, you take it home and you listen to it by order, no shuffle. You have to take it by order and you listen to it. And I remember being with my portable CD player, listening to it, and I was so addicted. I remember taking that CD player to the bathroom, guys, with me, and I was listening to it, and I couldn't stop listening to it, and it's funny. Since then, my tastes change a lot. I started listening to a lot more rock, although Linkin Park, it's new metal officially, but it kind of opened my doors to discover all the other styles. And then, of course, when I joined that rock band, Green Day, American Idiot had just came out 1 year before that. No, not 1 year, just a few months before. I remember I got it for Christmas, and then I entered the band on February. So I was super addicted to American Idiot, and the guys from the band were also, and then they were also listening to older Green Day. So we have like Nimrod, Warning, all the earlier albums, Dookie, all that. And then they were also listening to a lot of Red Hot Chili Peppers. So I started getting a lot of rock influences and digging to all of them. And I was loving it. And since then, rock has been my rock on music. It's just my foundation. That doesn't mean that I don't listen to other styles, because like you say, I do play and I sing a lot of other styles too. And in terms of work, I've done works in style that I never thought I would do before. For instance, jazz. I've done an album jazz for Australia that I was like, I would never do jazz. I don't like jazz. Well, look at me doing jazz now. So, and I did the melodies. I wrote lyrics. Also, a lot of EDM music, electronic dance music, especially house. People seem to really like my voice on those styles. Not complaining, because it's something that I can totally appreciate too. Although rock is my foundation, I won't say, oh, I only listen to rock, I don't listen to anything else. That's totally. I'm an artist. I can see the value, and I can appreciate every style of music, every style of music. Even in the styles that I say usually I don't like, there are one song or two that I do like on that style. So it's more about the emotion that the artist transposes to you than the specific style. At least that's what I think about music.
Oh, perfect. So as you mentioned earlier on, you're a freelance musician, so you write lyrics, you write the melodies, and you've got
Yeah.
quite a number of your own originals out there that you've worked on and done. So what actually inspires you to make those songs? So for instance, you got your brand new one, Holding On, that's come out.
Hmm.
What inspired you to actually write that in the first place?
It's funny because most of the songs that I release, I've written a very long time ago. Usually, I'm not that kind of person that okay, I write a song, I'm going to release it right away. I like to let the song grow on me because sometimes when you just write a song, it's like your baby, and like, oh, this song is better than any other song I ever wrote. That's just because you just wrote it, so you're still very in love with it. So I like to take the time to see if I keep liking that song, because sometimes you like a song and then you go back to it a few months after and you're like, that doesn't resonate with me a lot. But Holding On was one of those songs that have been with me. I wrote it around 4 years ago, and I'm inspired when to do songs. I can take inspiration for a lot of things. Usually I separate my freelance work and the songs that I do for other artists. They are more general. Usually sometimes I'm even given a theme, and they say, okay, I want this song to be about this. Or when people don't have an idea, I do put some ideas on the table, especially after listening to the instrumental. That's something that I always like to do. It's I listen to the instrumental, and I like to let the instrumental talk to me. That's how I compose. I listen to the instrumental, and I'm like, okay, I think this song talks about love, or I think this song talks about loss, or I think this song talks about feeling good. And then I share that those thoughts with the buyer, and usually they say, oh my gosh, you're spot on. But sometimes they say, no, I don't want about that, I want about something else. And okay, I can write about something else. On my personal songs, on my originals, I do get more personal because they're mine, of course, and so I want them to get personal. But I can write pretty much about anything. I can even write about stuff that I've never been through, because I'm a person who, when I see something, I'm one of those people who cries a lot in movies. Just because I put myself on that person's shoes, and I'm just like that. I can be really, really like that. I think that's one of the reasons why I love movies and series and everything. Is just I can get on that people's shoes and feel those emotions, and so I can write pretty much about anything you throw at me. I can write at it. But on my original songs, I do take it more personal, and I do write about my personal experiences. Holding On is a song that is very important to me because it's a song that came to me. It wasn't not one of those overthink songs. I didn't overthink that song. It just came to me. I remember I was working as a mechanical engineer back then, and I was feeling very tired, very frustrated. I had a job where I was working on a car shop, but I was on customer care, and it was murder because it was a shop for Volkswagen, an official shop, and on official shops, it's like they are super expensive, and I saw them sometimes charging prices to people that I'm like I remember once they charged 300 euros for a pipe, and I was like, how will I say to this person that we will take 300 euros for a pipe? And 300 euros, it's about
Mm.
$350 for you guys, or more or less, just for you guys have a notion in dollars. That's like for a pipe, for a rubber pipe this big. And I was like, ah. And so I was very frustrated. I was very stressed, and I wanted to do music, but I didn't have. I mean, when I got home, I was like a zombie. I just wanted to be in front of the TV and just like leave me alone. I don't want to do anything. I was feeling like a zombie, and I was not sleeping well at night because I was so frustrated. I was like, this is not what I want to do of my life. I feel like I'm wasting hours and days of my life, and I don't want to do this. And sometimes I wouldn't sleep, so I would go to the balcony and I would just stay there with my guitar, my electric guitar, because it was late at night. I didn't want to wake up the neighbors. So it was with my electric, just strumming. And I remember, looking at the stars, and I start singing "Holding On." And it's a song about, what I was trying to say to myself, just calm down, don't forget to breathe, better days will come, just keep holding on. And so it's a very personal song for me. And I think now it was totally the time to release it, because we are coming out of a pandemic all around the world, right? And it's hard to stay at home. It's hard to keep wearing masks and trying our best to do something against something we can't even see, right? But it's there, and you see it on the news, and everybody's talking about it, and there are people near us who are suffering with it, with this virus. And what a better time to release a song called "Holding On" and remembering ourselves that better days will come. And I always try to see this as I will have a story to tell my grandkids. I went through a pandemic. We had to stay home, and we had to fight for toilet paper. Okay, no, but
Oh,
something
trust me,
like that.
that was happening over here in the UK. You went to the supermarkets, none there. Try and find
Actually,
it.
here everybody was talking about it, but it never ran out.
No, yeah,
So
it happened here in the UK. I'm sending another couple of questions. Swansea's being very busy with asking the questions in here,
oh
so
yeah.
you can slot those in. They got in here. If you was in a band, would you still do the songs that you write, and Would you still go on sessions with the band, or would you stay solo?
Wow. Okay, so the thing about being on sessions with a band, it's right now how I have my studio. Since I'm building my studio, everything is pretty much all over the place, and would be totally impossible for me to go live with a band. In the future, that would be easier because I would have everything set up. The thing about being on a band, and especially taking in consideration that I'm in Portugal, it's that most musicians here in Portugal do music part time or as a hobby. And so it would be super, super hard for me to find someone who could be here in the studio with me for 12 hours per week performing and learning the songs. It would be really, really hard. So for me to be on sessions every day with a band, right now, I would say it's kind of impossible. I would
Don't you
love
have people
to
in the
in the
same
future.
building that can? There's a musician that could join you.
Yes, there is, but he also sees music as a hobby,
Oh
and
no.
he also has a job, so it would be a bit hard. But yes, yes, I do have a drummer here, and we are planning, and I would love, when I release my album of 15 years and 15 songs, I would love to perform live, and also at the same time doing a streaming, so you guys everywhere in the world could attend to that show. That would be really, really cool. And for something special, I could totally do that once, but every day with a band, that would be totally impossible for me right now. About the songs that I wrote, where when you are in a band, you don't write alone. I mean, everybody does their part, but then we have to put it all together, and that's part of the magic to be in a band. So I do have a very different style going solo, because when I'm go solo, it's just me doing all the things. When I'm doing things with the band, I do have several influences. Although I was always responsible to write lyrics and make the vocal melodies, but the rest of the instrumental was made uh, by everyone. So we did had different influences, and so our style was a lot different from what I do nowadays. What I do now is more like slow rock, alternative rock, and while I was with them was more like pop rock. So we had some punk influences too. So yeah, that's I think that happens to every artist. When you are in a band, your style kind of changes. That's that's totally normal.
Perfect. And the other question that Swans has put in there: the songs that you write, do they have any stories behind them, or is
Some of them, some of them have. For instance, I do have a song, and you guys don't know this song, but it's called "Blinded," and it's a song I wrote when I was in my band, and I wanted to show that song on Saturday because it's one of my favorites. I wrote this song for a friend, and it's called "Blinded" because she was, unfortunately, she was cheated by her boyfriend, cheated on her, and then that guy came and he brought her some flowers and she forgave him, and I was like, "Ah." And so I wrote "Blinded," so like, say, come on my friend, open your eyes, he doesn't love you, he's just throwing something in your eyes and you're totally. So that's the story behind that song. um but most of my recent songs, for instance the songs from my EP Longe, it's called Far Away, those are all related to my fight, my struggle to make a living as a musician. I wrote those songs when I first gave up my job to try to make a living out of music, and I failed miserably the first time I tried because I didn't have a plan. Simple as that. I didn't have a plan. I was just, I want to do this and I will do that. But it didn't came as fast as I would like. I did plant the seeds. I started freelancing back then. So I did plant the seeds to do everything I do today, but it took a lot longer than I was planning on. And so I wrote Longe while I was trying to make a living out of music. And all that album tells that story, tells the story of being far away from the person I wanted to be. That's the first song. It's called Far Away because I was feeling far away from the person I wanted to be. I wanted to be a musician. I was being a mechanical engineer, and I was like, where am I going with this? This is not the way that I want my life to be. And that's why I wrote Longe, and that's the story behind Far Away, Longe. And then the second song, and I will try to remember all the songs. There are five. I don't know if I will remember them by order. But the second song is called O Mundo Está Contra Ti, and that means the world is against you. And basically, that's what I was feeling back then. Is just, and it's a very powerful song, and that was one of those, I call it speed out songs, songs that you just start writing and in 5 minutes they're done. That was me. And so and basically it's a song that tells how ridiculous it is that, I mean, you get up in the morning, you have to watch the news, and people on TV are just telling you what, it's just media. You listen, and some things are not even accurate, and you listen to it. It's just like poisoning your brain. And then there's this pressure on the society. You have to be pretty on your selfies, and you have to have 1,000 likes so that people can like you, and you have to go to the gym, and you do all this to impress people or to impress society. But then when you get down at night, and when you are in your bed, you start crying, and you start wondering why. And that's part of the lyrics of those songs, and that's basically what I was feeling back then. And that's the story behind that song. And then we have the third song, if I'm not mistaken. It's Depressão, which is called Depression, and basically that's that's a given, right? What's this about? It's about feeling so trapped in a reality that you don't want to be, but you don't know how to escape, and it's, you start to get depressed, you start getting frustrated. And I do believe in, I went through a depression when I finished my degree. I noticed on the last year of my degree that I was feeling super super low. Usually I am a person that goes get it. I go and I get it. When I have to do something, I just do it. And back then, I couldn't even have the strength to get out of bed. I just felt like I want to sleep the whole day. I didn't want to eat. I didn't want to go out. I remember I went to a summer camp, and that was in the last year of my degree. And I went to a summer camp with some friends, and they wanted to go to the beach and they wanted to hang out, and I just want to lay on my tents to sleep. And looking back now, and I see, oh my god, the signs were so obvious, and nobody understood what was going on with me. They were like, why are you always so tired? And oh, why don't you want to have fun. And on my head, I was just thinking, what's the point? And I couldn't understand. I just understood later. I even went to a psychologist back then, and she told me that it was totally normal because that was my last year of degree. That happens to everyone, and once you start working, you'll be fine. And I kind of believed her. And then I start working and I got worse. And I was like, okay, she wasn't right. And I just had to make that break in my life and understand what was going on with me. And the issue was because I wasn't doing what I wanted to do. I wanted to do music, and that's it. And that was the reason why I was so down. Now I know, but back then it wasn't so obvious. And so when I look back on that album and all those songs talk about being very, very angry with everything and with life and struggling to find a way out. And on that point, that's why the first one, Far Away, it's my favorite song. It's because it's a happy song. Although it says I'm totally lost, I have no idea where I'm going, I don't know where I am, but it's a happy song because you have to realize you're lost so you can try to find your way to the right place. You have to realize you're lost. If you're not, you just carry on walking without direction, right? So it's a happy song. It's my favorite one. And it's funny because usually it's everyone's favorite too. And I'm so happy about it. And finally, the last song is called Passado Presente, and that's past present. And that's one of my failings as a person, my shortcomings. I always struggle a lot in the past, and I think a lot about, oh, maybe I should have done this differently, or maybe I should have said something differently about situations that you can't change anymore. And so that's the story behind that song. Sometimes we are so stuck in the past that we forgot to live our present. And that's also one of my favorite songs because I really, really like the result that I got in terms of mix and mastering. I think that's my most successful mix and master so far. I really like. And some parts of those songs were actually written at 4 a.m. in the morning just because I got up and I had this idea for the solo and I had to record it. And also the solo. So the guitar solo you heard was all recorded at 4 a.m. using an electric guitar plugged in straight so I didn't make noise. So don't worry, guys, I didn't wake up anyone. But yeah, and all of my songs have stories behind them. You just have to listen to the lyrics; it's all there.
Okay, perfect. So talking about lyrics and songwriting and all of that side of things, if someone asked you for any tips on writing their first song, what tips would you give them?
Well, for me, I think you have to start with what comes more naturally to you. And that can be writing, for instance. You could be an amazing writer. I know some people who are amazing writers, so but they are not good at making vocal melodies. So okay, so start with writing. Okay, start writing your song idea, and or you're good at writing melodies, or you're good at playing the guitar but you have no idea how to sing over it. So start doing what comes easier to you, and then you kind of build up from there. And also, I have to say this because that's what I did for a very, very long time, especially when I started, when my prices were more affordable. Don't be afraid to look online for help. Okay, you have a lot of freelance musicians out there who can help you spice up your song and bring your song to life. I've done so much works like that. People reach out to me with lyrics, they want to make a song, and I would make a song for them with the lyrics, or the other way around. They have the instrumentals, but they're looking for vocals. So you can search online for help. And that doesn't mean that the song won't be yours, okay? Because you will always have, it's your song, so you'll have the final word. You can change stuff, and most freelancers, they do this, and you get all the rights of the song. So you can also, that's something you can negotiate, and in the end it will be your song, okay? Because you can always change stuff that people do, or you can get several ideas from different people and bring it all together. So nowadays with the internet, everybody can be a musician. You just have to do what you're good at and then start building up. For instance, I start writing songs, I didn't even know how to play an instrument. That didn't stop me. So it's just the same thing. Or maybe the other way around. You're good at playing an instrument, but you're not good at singing. That's okay. You can always hire a singer. Don't be afraid to record a demo with your poorly singing. That's totally fine. No one cares. I sure don't. I remember receive a lot of demos, people singing poorly. That's okay. I mean, I can get the overall idea and then do my own twist and then send it back to you. So it's just the tips is don't be afraid to put yourself out there, and also ask for other people opinions and feedback, because I think you grow a lot as an artist is exactly like that, interacting with other artists and bringing other people aboard along with you.
Perfect. So as you said earlier, and as you just mentioned in there, you do a lot of streaming and reaching out to other people. 12 hours a week of streaming.
Yeah.
And you sort of answered this question earlier in your stream, but for people that wasn't watching your stream on sessions earlier on, if someone wants to get into streaming, what benefits does that bring to a musician?
Yeah, for me, being a studio musician, it does have that kind of daily dose of interaction. Although I'm also actually I'm an introvert, although many people would take me for an extrovert, but I'm actually an introvert. So I'm very well at home on my own environment, but that doesn't mean that I don't need to interact with other people. Of course, how I also need my dose of interaction. And being a streamer, it does help you interact with the audience. For instance, I've been streaming a lot. And about live shows, I still do live shows, but I don't do a lot of live shows. But I was someone reached out, an old person, an old contact, an old friend reached out and they wanted a live show. And I haven't performed live for a very long time. This was, of course, before all this COVID thing. And I went there and I went to do a live show. I haven't done a live show for a very long time. I was kind of nervous. And then I went there and I started playing and I felt so at ease. And you know what? I think that was from streaming, because right now I just go there and do my thing. I start telling jokes, and some people laugh, some people don't. That's okay. If I have one people in a room of 5,000 people who's laughing, I'm happy too, it's because I have someone now laughing with me. And so also with streaming, you don't get that live interaction because you're talking, but it can be one person listening, can be zero people listening, can be 1,000. You kind of don't know when you go live. But I just don't care. I mean, I just do my thing. If people are there, people are talking, I answer, and that's amazing. But even when I'm there alone, I'm just being myself. I'm doing my thing. And that's something that I learned from streaming. That really helps you a lot as an artist, because it's not about being a good artist when you perform a live show. It's about how you deal with your audience. That's a huge part of any live show. And so streaming does help a lot with that. Also, it helps you in other ways, because it allows you to practice every day, because it forces you to go there and practice every day. People are asking you for other songs. I'm always taking challenges, so sometimes I start singing stuff that I've never thought in my life that I was going to sing this. But people request it, and I'm like, okay, let's do this. And then I see myself and I'm like, oh my gosh, Sandra, what have you done? But it's
No, it's all right.
funny.
There's still a song that's sitting in the pipeline that I've yet to send over to you as a request. So just wait for that
uh,
one.
shall I be afraid? Oh my gosh. I was just singing Scatman the other day. Can you believe it? Oh my gosh. I don't know how I did it. How I did it.
Uh,
Ah,
Funny enough, I'm not obviously not going to spoil the other interviews I've done, but I was talking to one of the other interviews, and we were saying about the songs that we sort of play, and all singers, sessions artists, and Triangle Anger did come up in there. And that artist who I was talking to was Francois, and you'll hear his reaction in that one later, Sandra, when you watch it. It was quite a good reaction in there. I'm not
oh
going to
man,
spoil that. I'm not going to spoil that for people that haven't seen that one, or if you did join live, you'll know what the reaction was. That did make us both laugh. And while we're talking about sort of interaction and working with other artists, obviously you're very active on Instagram, not on Facebook, on obviously sessions on YouTube. So does it really benefit you and your? I'll get my words out in a minute. Does it benefit a musician to use all those multiple channels, and how's it helped your career go from where it was with being on Fiverr doing the freelance stuff to where it is now with new covers coming out every single week and the collaborations you do?
yeah, it's I still have a lot of work to do on that subject, because since I'm a 90s kid, and so I was raised without internet, with all this social media thing. So it's something I only have internet. I've only had internet for the past 10 years of my life. So it's something that came into my life, And I never paid much attention to social media before being an artist. When I was doing with my band, for instance, we did have, and we still have a Facebook, but that wasn't even me who did it. And I didn't pay much attention to that. But once I start going to online musician communities, and I start realizing the power of social media, and it's because how you connect to your audience as artists. Of course, on sessions it's a different interaction, it's more live interaction, but on social media you can keep people posted about what you're doing, and that's so important. And sometimes I do know that I should be more active on social media. I try to be as much as I can. Right now I'm going through a home renovation, so it's not easy. I'm also building my home studio, so it's not easy. But I always try to post a story on Instagram saying, "Oh, look, my new wall," or something like that, or um, making funny videos of me putting some lamps working or something like that, because it's actually what I'm doing right now. But for any artist, I think it's important that we have to understand an artist needs an audience. And social media is so important to build an audience and to put yourself out there. And right now it's hard, it's very easy to get lost because we do have so many social medias and so many different channels. So many people ask me, why aren't you on TikTok? And I'm like, I'm not there because I can't say this, but what I think, and I'm not on TikTok because my target audience isn't there. So, and that's very important as an artist to understand your target audience. And so that's something that's some of the homework that I did. Since I sing rock and I sing mostly old songs, that's something I usually refer to. Usually all the songs I sing are before the 2000s. That's not only a matter of, it's a matter of personal taste. Okay, it's what I love, it's the songs I hear. So that's also you should do when you go live and when you stream, is that you have to perform songs that you feel passionate with. That's super important. And the same thing about your social media. You have to post stuff about what you're passionate with. Okay. If you don't like, for instance, I see videos on TikTok and I'm like, what's this, man? This is what people are saying. I'm like, so I'm not on TikTok just because it doesn't make sense to me. It can make sense to you. So that's something you can, that's why we have so many social medias, right? Uh,
Yeah.
people are different and people have different interests. So first social media I was in was Facebook, and I struggle a lot with Facebook because nowadays Facebook, I mean, if you don't pay for posts on Facebook, pretty much no one sees your posts. So it's very bad, and for that reason, I started to give a try on Instagram too. And what I realized on Instagram is that it works so much better than Facebook, and people totally see your posts, and you don't have to pay for it. So and so I start using a lot more of my Instagram than my Facebook. And nowadays, what I do is I post stuff on Instagram and then I share it on Facebook automatically. But I'm a lot more active on Instagram just because I know that I reach more people on Instagram. And when I start going live, people would ask, "Oh, you should make YouTube cover. Do you have a YouTube channel?" I was like, "Yes, I do have a YouTube channel, but I don't post anything there." And I was so sad about it. So I thought, okay, I have to do something. But the thing is, since I am a freelance musician and I do mix and mastering for other artists and everything, I mean, I couldn't just post a video of me playing the guitar recorded with a cell phone. It's like it's my artist image, right? It's my professionalism. And so I would have to do something that would take a lot more time. It will take a lot more for me, but it was something that I would look upon and I would say, okay, I did a good job there. And so that's why I struggled for a very long time to go back to my YouTube covers, because it's the first, I still have my earlier covers there. They suck. But I keep that up there so people can see my first videos and they see the evolution. I think that's important too. That's why I don't take my old videos down. Maybe people say, "Oh, you should take these videos down. They are so bad." But people can see the date. People can see that I was younger, that I was just figuring stuff out. So that's totally fine. And actually, I have my first streaming there. So if you want to see something embarrassing, that's also public on my YouTube channel. Uh, Anyway, because it's part of evolution, you have to accept that, and that actually makes me proud, because I look back and I look at my streamings now, and I'm saying, okay, I did a good job, and I did had some that feedback when I put that video public. People were like, "Oh my gosh, Sandra, you've come so far since your first streaming," and I'm so happy with that, right? So nothing to be embarrassed about that. But about social media, it's just, keep it real, keep it yourself. I mean, it's important that you see the trends and see, don't be in too many social medias, because otherwise you will not have time for everything. But when I went into YouTube and I was trying to explain that, where the bulletized covers, well, I knew I just had to make everything. I just couldn't use a pre-made instrumental and just put it there. I would have to put everything. I mean, I wanted to show my version of songs, and that's when I start understanding a bit more about video edition also. So you can also see that evolution on videos, because I start figuring stuff out. And then people actually started to reach out saying, "Oh, I really want to do something with you," and I was like, "Okay, let's go for it." And that's when bulletized covers and bulletized collaborations start happening. And there was a time that I even had a waiting list for people to be on collaborations with me, because I had so many people wanting to make collaborations with me. I still have, but I there was a point in my that I was point there was a point that I did a collaboration every 2 weeks. But right now, with the home renovation, I mean, it's just impossible, and I can't coordinate everything. I can't have the instrumentals ready on time, and so right now I'm still releasing stuff on my YouTube channel because I want to keep it active. But it's something a lot more simple of what I had done. Just until I get every all the renovation figured out, and then I go back fully charged to my YouTube covers. And my channel has grown so much. In just 3 or 4 months, I had 170 subscribers. Right now, I have 530 subscribers, and I didn't make any sub for sub, guys. I didn't pay anyone. Everything I have there is just because of collaborations. People come by my streaming and then they subscribe my YouTube channel, and some people, I have buyers that subscribe my YouTube channel because I did invite them to. Hey, look what I'm doing. Just because I'm proud of what I'm doing. See, if I was doing something that I wasn't proud, I wasn't sharing it with everyone. So um just by doing quality content, I think that's the key. It's something that I look back on my YouTube channel now and I'm like, oh, this is so cool. And the challenge for me is trying to keep up, every trying to keep every week, trying to keep the level of quality, even now that I'm doing some easier things and more basic things, because, well, right now, like I said, I don't have much time. But I want to keep it active. And even if it's just me singing, but with a simple video, sometimes, like I say, sometimes one take does make the artist, and sometimes it's because it's totally different. And when you watch a band live, some bands live, they do sound so much better live than recorded. It's just that there's a magic on doing things live. Okay, I do love a recorded song. I do love to mix and master in a good production. But when things go back, when when things go to beginning to the end and they sound smooth and great, and you go back to it and you listen to it and you're like, I did a good job. That's also very rewarding for an artist, more than going to a studio and record. Although I feel that way. I feel a lot that way.
No, I understand that. This question, this next one, might sound a little bit hard, and it's going to probably be a bit of a tricky decision for you. But out the your bulletized covers you've done, we're not going to include collaborations here because that would make the question completely unfair, and I'm not about that. I'm all about supporting artists. So out the solo the solo bulletized covers that you've done, which one of those do you look back on and go, I absolutely love that one, and that's the one I'm going to either promote, or that's the one I'd play the most, or that's the one I had the most fun doing?
So, I do have a different for video and a different for audio, to be honest. some audios they do well, I am the one that I have on my YouTube channel, that when you are not a subscriber and you get to my YouTube channel, the cover you have, it's A Man's World by James Brown. That's the first one. And actually I have that one there because it was my first bulletized cover ever. And still looking back, I'm still so proud of that one, because it that one is important because it was the first one, and I look back at it and I say, wow, I did this. And I've never done anything like this before, like making a version of a song. So that one for me is very important. Also, I released it on International Women's Day, and that's something that, I released it as a form of promoting equality. Even in the description you have, James Brown said man that did everything. Well, a woman did do everything on this song, and that was me. So it does have a very powerful message. And being a mechanical engineer, that's a man's world. And being a musician, that's also a bit of a man's world. There are a lot more men musicians than women. So that song is very personal to me on that um, on that point. But talking about videos, oh my gosh, I just love the one from "Give Me a Man After Midnight" from ABBA. I did use. It was my first time using green screen, and oh my gosh, I did some mistakes. And then I had to fix it on the edition. But overall, it worked super well. I got people asking me, "How did you do this without green screen?" I did use green screen, but people asking me, "Oh, how did you do this without green screen?" I was like, "Yes." People think I didn't use the green screen. That's because I did a good job there. So, but that was that was cool because I tried that. It was my first try at it. But that one is more for the video. I like the audio too, but that video I really like. Also the video of Trangalanga. Oh my gosh, that I had so much fun doing that, and that was totally improvised, especially the part of the twins.
Yeah.
Um,
So for those people that don't know Trangalanga, if you've watched the
yeah,
Francois interview earlier on, or you're sort of an avid sessions follower, shall we say, if you're as
yeah.
people are referencing people, if you're a sessionist, that's if you're a sessionist, then you'll notice Sandra Bullet, Francois One Man Band, Fernando Ufret, Rafa Michello,
Oh,
Andrew Bonica. I don't know if Chris Pride's in there. I think I've sent the lyrics to Chris, but she hasn't done it as of yet. So there's a team of 5 streamers that actually took 500 miles by the Proclaimers, and they've changed the lyrics in them,
oh
and
my gosh,
that
that's so
made
awesome.
into the Trangalanga. And this is something, Sandra. I don't know if you was aware of this or not. Not many streamers are actually aware of this. The final paragraph with the 500 pints. Do you know where that originates from?
I know it's from South Africa, but it's not. Oh my gosh.
It's me and
Oh,
Francois wrote that line because we sort of comedy about the amount of drinking that me and him can get through on WhatsApp. So
yes, I love it.
he actually wrote that, he rewrote that last paragraph to sort of fire it across
Oh,
my direction. So it's 500
it's
pints and
so.
500 more.
Oh, so Chris is saying that she tried it once for you.
Uh,
Chris, if you like,
yeah,
I
I've
can
just seen
send
it
you my
come
instrumental so you can sing over it. I think the key is better. For a woman, the original key is very low.
in. Yeah.
So, but if you like, I can send you the lyrics. I can send you the instrumental, Chris, so you can use it on your streamings.
Yes, I
I
do.
always
I do
sing.
remember Chris doing it. I do remember that. It was Julie that mentioned it and said, "Oh, Chris, you got
Ah,
to
okay.
cover it." So yeah, no, of course, Chris, but I'm sure Sandra
Oh
did.
man, and actually, I knew this song because I had to make a cover of this song for South Africa for a paid work actually, and that's the first time I heard that song, and it was for South Africa, and I also did a version of Barbie Girl to this buyer. So he was a gamer, and so he was doing these lyrics versions about specific games. So we would change the lyrics, and I would have to record using a karaoke. I would just sing with his lyrics. And once he requested the Trangalanga, and I was like, well, it wasn't Trangalanga, it was 500 miles. And I never heard that song before. That was the first time I heard that song. That song in Portugal wasn't a hit. No, nobody knows this song. And I heard that song and I was like, this is awesome. I loved it right away. And since then I was addicted to that song. I would listen to it day and night. And when I saw Francois doing it, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to make a cover because I love that song so much. And I had requested from Fernando earlier because Fernando has that on his song
Yeah.
request list. And I think that actually that was the first song I asked for Fernando to play because I was going through his song request list. Oh my gosh, 500 miles. Okay, I want to hear that one because I love that song so much.
Yeah.
And so when I was doing it, my idea was to, okay, I was recording the video on green screen because on the original video clip, they do have he's singing, and behind him there are some footage of the movie that also uses that song. And so I was thinking about, okay, I will record myself on green screen, then I'll put myself on the background recording some instruments. And I was doing it, and then I had this image on my mind. Oh my gosh, I have to make it, when the other twin comes along, I had to just swipe and pretend that like we are all here and singing at the same microphone. That would be so awesome. That was totally on the moment, spur of the moment. And okay, I have to do it like that. And the video turned out so funny, and I was so happy with the result. And I was thinking on my head, okay, on this point we are looking at one another. Okay, now I have to come this way, and I have to go that way, but oh my gosh, I just loved it so much. And about the audio, it was something that came right. It just the first mix I did, it was totally right, and I was so happy with it. It was so easy, so easy. It was one of those that bang, it sounds good. So as you can see, I don't have a favorite per se. I do have ones that I do. These are my favorites because this is the one I attempted this and it worked. This is a message. This one, it's they are my favorites for something, for things different, for different things. And so I can't say that I have just this one that is totally above everything else because I just can't.
No, perfect. And obviously talking about covers, and as you said, you've sort of done a collaboration using yourself as the second artist
Exactly.
to collaborate with, which was absolutely phenomenal. Obviously, most people are aware, or pretty much everyone that follows either myself or you are aware. We've done a cover between us as well, and that was just
Yes.
very much fun to work on. So, for the guys that don't know the background story behind this, I think it was more. Yes, you
I'm
can laugh
already laughing. I'm
because you
already laughing.
yeah, because you know this background story. It was a case of that I was on Sandra's stream and I'll hold my hands up. I do exactly as Sandra does with the streams. If it's a new artist I'm going to see, I look through their song list, go, oh, I know that song, or I know how that song sounds, so I'll request that. And so
Yeah.
I requested this because, well, as we'll go through in a minute, Sandra will sort of see why I really love this song. And Sandra, you know this with the way we done the video on it. It's just the production behind it is brilliant. I kept
Yeah.
requesting this song, and then I can't remember. There was another sessions artist. I said, "Oh, Sandra, you've got to do a cover of that because it's going to sound fantastic." And
Yeah.
then like, yeah, go right, goes on the list, and wait until find a collaboration artist on it. And then all of a sudden, Sandra said, "Look, you keep requesting this far too much." Oh, sorry. Why don't you collaborate with me? It's like, what? I do
And I'm
collaboration.
like,
I don't know how to do this.
exactly.
I've never done a collaboration before. I just get the track. I hit
I
play and
don't
off
care.
it goes. I just hit play and off it goes. That's all I do. Or I make a radio ad from scratch with a music bed and put a voicing on it. I don't
Because
collaborate on
I've seen your
songs.
things, and I've seen you do some effects, and I thought they were really cool. So I thought, okay, it's easy. I mean, we can do this. Um, I could do the instrumental, and I knew I could send it to you, and I knew you would come out with something that I would really like. So because I saw the way you do your shows, and I really like what you do with the songs. You have something, and I've never said this to you before, but it's true. As a DJ, some DJs, they kind of ruin the songs because they add a lot of effects there, and it's not even the original song anymore. It's just that their version, and sometimes it's too much. And I'm very careful with covers. even when I'm doing my covers, I'm very, very careful because I do hate when artists try to change covers so much that it doesn't even sound as the original anymore. And so that's something that I have a lot of respect for the original artist who performed this song. And so when I do a cover, I want to do an homage. I don't want to take that song and just do something totally different just to make it mine. I want to keep it real and respectful to the artist. And while when you're doing your streamings, you add your cool effects, but you just keep it in the song, and everything you do on a song, every effect that you add, it does respect and it does makes the song better. So I saw you do this, and so I was 100% confident that you would nail this. And about the video, it's just we did this video call, right? And you just threw some ideas in there, I threw some ideas in there, and then when I was recording the video, I threw a little too much about something. But that's another background story of the video, so
No,
you know already
that
about
video
the
call
video.
was literally a case of, because I was away at the time, and Sandra was like, "Do you think you'll be able to get it done for the Saturday?" It's like, depending when I get back off this holiday, I'll be able to do it. So I said, "Look, let's video call while I'm away. I'll let you know what's happening with the dates on it and everything." And it was literally like a 10-minute video call. Right, this is the idea. I go, right, I want to do black and white up to that point, then we'll do color at that point. You go, well, hang on a minute. What about if we go through all the stages of it? And when I was doing
Yeah,
the
yeah.
when I was doing the CMV cut on it, when I was adding the effects, I was waiting for that. Right, that drop's going to have that part in there. That drop's going to have that part in there. And again, something else I've never told you on this, Sandra. That was one take.
One take, yeah.
No,
That's amazing.
I done all of that. Because I know that song, and obviously I've played it loads of times,
Yeah.
but never put the effects to it. And I just thought, right, that's just going to work there. That's going to drop there. And it was. I literally hit record, and
That's
that was the
yeah.
first one I sent you. I recorded 3 versions. It was the first take that got sent to you, and which was the ultimate one that made the video.
Because that's something that I usually do on covers, not on all of them,
Mm,
but I always try to keep the same structure of the original song, because people, when they know the original structure, they are kind of expecting to see that on a cover. Sometimes I do change it just to accommodate. For instance, on ABBA, I did change a lot just because I went in a totally different direction. It was a rock version, so I did a guitar solo. I did a bridge that's not even on the original. Um, so on that one, I did take a lot of more liberty to do all those changes. But usually when I do a cover, I try to keep the same structure so that people know what to expect and know when each part comes. And so I on that one, I did keep it straight line, so it will also be relatable to you since you know the original song. And so it would that would make it also easier on you. I mean, if I keep changing everything, you would be like, what's this? What do I do this? And so I didn't want that to happen, and I didn't want people to get lost in the middle of the song, so I did kept the original structure on there. And also when recording the video, so I just immediately thought, okay, I have to go. I have a river near my house, near my home. It's near a forest. It's beautiful. It does look like very metal, very melodic metal. So I thought, okay, let's do some footage here. And I was trying to find a good place, and that river, it does have some access, but doesn't have does have many plants. So sometimes it's hard
mm,
to reach the water. So finally, I found a place where I could reach the water, but then I didn't have a place to put my camera, and this is something you don't know, Tom. So I didn't take my camera, my good camera, but I did take my phone, and I do have a phone with a very good camera. It's a very expensive phone, so I do have a good camera on it. And well, it's expensive enough, so I have to be very careful with it,
yeah,
and I took this phone, and the only way I could have a decent shot, I would have to have it on a stone that was in the middle of of the river. So this phone was staying on a tripod in the middle of a stone in a river, and it was kind of windy, so I could see my phone sometimes going like this, and I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. It's supposed to be water resistant, but
mm,
it's already a bit crashed on the back, so I don't think it's water resistant anymore. Anyways, but I did take a chance, and that did went well, thank God. But something didn't go very well. That was because, of course, since I was using my phone to record, I needed something to hear myself and to hear the song so I could do the playback. And so I did take two MP3s with me, and I do have two MP3s. And so I decided, okay, I haven't used them in a very long time. So I decided, okay, let's take both. So in case some of them don't work, I will have the other. So I took both, and I went there. And again, to get a good shot, I just found this. In the video, it does seem like I'm on shore, but I'm actually in a very small island,
Yep.
very near the shore of the river. And it was great. Green turf all around. It was so beautiful, and it just have enough space from my guitar and me, and that's it. But I had to be super careful because there was water on some places, but it does have a lot of plants, so I couldn't see where was water or where was the land. So I was kind of in the middle of it. My shoes were off, so my feet were fine. So I was just standing there. I was trying to connect my MP3. I did take the first MP3, and I when I arrived there, I noticed, oh my gosh, but this MP3 does have a smaller jack, and I don't have a mini jack adapter. Okay, I can't use this MP3. All right, I have to go get the other one. So I left my guitar, went grab the other MP3, came back, and when I was trying to plug in my MP3, I plugged my MP3 and I put it on my lap, but then I would have to reach for my guitar, and when I reached to my guitar, the MP3 is super light, right? It's a very small
Yep.
thing. And was with my headphones on. And when I did this, it came with the headphones and
Oh
in
no.
the river. I was like, oh my God. And I immediately pulled it up, but it was gone. It was gone, man. It was totally wet. Okay, well, this one's gone. Okay, let me grab the other one. But then I was like, okay, I don't have the jack adapter to that one. So this one is dead. How can I do this? I was like, okay, can I record myself? I mean, following the song. Okay, and then I remember the other MP3 does have these very, very small speakers. Like they're minus, and they are super low, of course, because they are very tiny. And okay, I was and I put it here in my MP3. I was like, okay, I can listen to it, but that was the noise of the river, of course, and so that was noise all around. I couldn't hear it, and so the only I could hear it, but I had to be like this. And so I remember, okay, let's hold my MP3 like this. So I did put my MP3 like this. It's super small. You can't see it on the video. But if you pay attention, you can see myself sometimes putting my head like this so I can listen to the song. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
That's
it fits the video so well because obviously up until that point when I was watching the video, I thought that's just so well worked. So then once you said about the MP3, obviously
you
having
start
the
noticing, right?
obviously having the raw footage of the video allows you to zoom in and look really carefully at certain bits, and you can see you're leaning to try and catch the notes to play. But no, the
Yeah,
whole
because
the whole
I could hardly hear it sometimes. But just enough to follow more or less.
yeah.
So, but yeah, it's just fun stories behind the videos and things that happen when you try new stuff. And I guess that's what makes it all exciting, even more exciting. Although I did lost an MP3, that's sad. I'm still mourning for it. But in the end, the result was so great, and it's one in terms of imagery, it's my favorite video. It's the video that I look and I think it's so artistic. It's so beautiful,
Yeah.
and I'm so glad that I got out of the studio to record that one. I don't think it would be so good if I would just record it on the studio. It wouldn't be the same thing. So that's okay. If I have to sacrifice one MP3 for that, I mean, I can take that. I can take.
And what I love about it as well, and again, this comes down to Sandra being the artist that she is. It's just great to work with someone that you can say, "Here's the ideas of what I've got," and you went, "Yeah, bang, exactly the same ideas as I had for doing that." So we both come up with the same video ideas pretty quickly on it. As I said, it was like a 5-minute video call. And was like, yeah, bang, we know exactly where we're going with this. I'll get everything
Yeah,
sent over to
I
you.
remember. Yeah, I remember you mentioned the original video, and I didn't even. I think you mentioned the original video before the call, and so I did saw. I mean, I have seen it before, obviously, but I just went to refresh my memory. I went to the original video again, and when I see it, I already had some ideas going for it, and so basically, when we had the call, it was just bringing all those ideas together, and all right, let's do this.
Exactly, and it was phenomenal working with you, Sandra, and obviously thank you again for allowing
It
me.
was my pleasure. Thank you so much for being on board. And also, I really would love to thank everybody who took a chance on me, just did the bulletized covers with me because it was all of them were challenging, a very different challenge in a different way. Some of them were spot on, some of them have some hiccups along the way, but that's just part of how things work. And working with other people with different sounds, that makes me evolve so much as an artist, especially as a sound. I'm not a sound engineer, but I do a lot of work that a sound engineer does. So it's one thing to mix my own voice, but to mix other people's voice, I do apologize. To mix other people's noise, voice or instruments, it makes you grow as an artist. It makes you want to try new things because some things don't work on your voice, but it does work on other people's voices, and the other way around. Some things that I use on my voice don't work on other people's voices. So it's amazing that people, when I invite them, they're like, yeah, let's do this. And I'm so excited that, for instance, when Fernando Ufred, I mean, that guy has more than 100,000 followers. And
111,000 at last count.
exactly, I mean it's amazing. And he's such a down to earth person. I mean, it's something that, I mean, you guys can see he's streaming, and you guys can think, oh, he's just there while he's streaming. No, he's that guy. And I can say the same about many artists I've known on sessions. They are so down to earth, and they're so amazing, and it makes you want to be more. It makes you want to evolve more. And I can, you don't even have to thank me. No one I mean, I have to thank everyone to work with me and bringing some of their magic onto my studio, because I think that's what makes music so good. It makes you know people around the world. It makes you try new things. It makes you bond with people through music, because even you might not know anyone about people who's there watching your streaming, but if they say, oh, I love that song you're singing, you're already bonding on something, right? You have something in common. And it's just, I'm still amazed that I can be streaming and people all around the world can see me and interact with me. That's something I know it's a given, but it's something that is so powerful. And it still amazes me every day. When I see people, I ask, where are you from? And I see people from Malaysia, I see people from India, Philippines, the States, Brazil, and they're everywhere, South Africa, and we're all together. We're all on here, and we're all having fun. And I could never, if you come to me like 5 years ago and saying, okay, in 5 years you'll be here, I'll say, you're such a liar. That's impossible. I could never do that. And here I am. And it's so magical. It's not, there are not even words to describe. And it's just, it's something that makes me feel good. Even when I'm not feeling good, I always say on my streamings, music is always the solution, because it is for me. And every time I'm sad, every time I'm frustrated, I listen to music and I remember everything that I have right now. And I couldn't be more grateful for what I have right now. And sometimes I don't think I appreciate that, and we don't appreciate that enough. Sometimes we are so lost in our everyday problems and our schedules and so many things we need to do. And sometimes we need to stop and breathe and just appreciate what we have. And I think that's what streaming also makes for me. Makes me stop for a minute and just listen and re-listen to the songs I've sung like 1,000 times. I don't care. I still love those songs, and I'm sharing them with people. And sometimes even Woody the other day, I was showing Scatman. For me, Scatman is a classic, and now the guy is addicted to that song. He's always requesting it. I'm saying, and I'm thinking, what have I done? But he met that song. He knew that song through me, and that's powerful, man. That's so powerful. That's the power of a streamer. And sometimes, oh, you're just streaming. No, we do have power. And I got one gift from India of a person who drew me, and she sent me this beautiful note saying, thank you so much, Sandra, for making me believe on my own dreams, because I always say, follow your dreams, guys, don't worry about what people say. And I just got this note from me from India, and I have this amazing fan art that I can't wait to hang on my studio walls because I just love it so much. And that's so powerful. That's so powerful. And that's an emotion that you can't even explain or put to words. That's the power of sharing what you love with the world. And I guess that's why I love so much what I do, is just there's not even words to describe it. I even thinking about that, I have to kind of breathe to not start cheering like crazy, because it's powerful. It's so powerful, and it still amazes me every day, every single day.
And of course, you got the fan art video here on the Country Music Vibe YouTube channel for
Yeah,
you
it's
time to
amazing.
as well.
Tom, thank you so much for doing it. Every when I see it, I was like, oh my gosh, a fan art video. It's something like it does feel the heart of every artist. And I also remember, I have to mention this, when Larissa did a version of my song, and the first song she covered, she started singing Longe, but then she covered Passado Presente.
Yeah.
And then I heard her singing my song, and that's something that it will stick with me forever, because having someone covering one of your original songs, and it's just so powerful. And seeing people send you pictures, I do have this I have someone who watches me, and every streaming he watches, he draws a picture of me, and he's an amazing drawer. And every time I see his drawings, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so amazing. And he's like, oh, it's nothing special. I wish I could do it better. I'm like, no, it's perfect. And it's so beautiful, just having people there who look up to you. It's more than sharing music, it's sharing your view on life. And it's also a huge responsibility, and I do feel that as a blessing. Not a I don't see it as a curse, because I'm just doing my thing, but it's very, very powerful, and very daunting. It still amazes me. And
Uh,
Chris is saying same here. Yes, hearing Larissa cover her song, of course. Oh,
or
I've heard it. Amazing song. I have to say, amazing song, Chris. I have to say this. I've heard it. I've heard Larissa's version. I still have to hear yours, though. I still have to hear yours. But amazing song.
you often haven't been in my stream when Chris is in there, then, because that gets played as soon as Chris no that or
Oh, I haven't caught it yet.
no,
Ah,
what's the other one?
Chris, I will request your song the next time I will drop by your streaming. I will definitely request
Perfect
it.
Storm as well. That's another one you want to be requesting from Chris Pride as well. Fantastic
Oh,
song,
I
that one.
haven't heard that one yet.
No, but as Larissa was saying in the interview I done with her, she's thanking you as well for covering in winter.
That was, that I just had to do it. And actually, the first version I sent to her was just an acoustic version of just me playing the guitar and singing, and she loved it. And okay, and then I started thinking, you know what? I think I'll take it even further, and I will make this a bulletized cover. And I did everything without her knowing, because that's the way I am. I'm very sneaky.
Yes,
So I did everything without her knowing. And then I called her, and I called her on WhatsApp because I wanted to see a video. I needed to see her reaction. And actually, I recorded that call. She doesn't know this. I
well, she
recorded.
will do when she watches the playback on this interview.
No, I didn't want to. Well, she'll know then. Yes, don't worry, Larissa. I won't show it to anyone. But it's just for me. It's just for me, because I recorded. I phoned her. I was like, "Oh, Larissa, it's just I have something that I really wanted your feedback. I did this cover, but I wanted your feedback for posting it. You guys want to see it? It's unlisted. I'll send you the link, and I really love your feedback." And she was opening the link, and immediately when it started playing, we have Winter Bullet and everything, and she was like, "Oh my god!" She was like the very first beginning, and she was kind of she had this amazing smile on her face for the whole call. She didn't even say anything. Was she was listening to the song and she was just oh, she was just like this. And then the full band came. The full band only comes at the
Mm.
second part of the song, and so and she goes, "Oh my God, it has drums and everything." She was so happy with it,
Yep.
and she. Oh, and I recorded the call just because every time I watched it, I feel so happy. As an artist, making someone so happy like that is just because I know how it is, because I had exactly the same feeling when she recorded my song. So I just wanted to get back to her on a very very special way, and doing something special, not only just an acoustic but something really um you know better produced. And sometimes she mentions, she just mentioned this to me the other day, that she started getting more attention on her original songs because of my recording. Because Larissa, she still, well, now she's starting to record her songs more properly, because I gave her a couple of tips about how she could record stuff from home and sound a bit better with the equipment she has. But on her streaming, she only uses a microphone for everything. So of course,
Mm.
it doesn't sound perfect. Of course, with the conditions she has, she sounds amazing. But she should sound, and she could sound a lot better. So she got back to me and she said, "You know what, Sandra? Many people, they come to me. Oh my gosh, I love that song in winter. But is that yours? Is that really yours? Did you really did that song?" And yes, she did that song, and she is an amazing singer songwriter. And I can't wait to record her album on my studio. She's the first. She will be the first person to come here and record her album. She's been waiting since all this COVID thing happened. It
Yep.
was on hold, poor thing. And I can't wait to record her here, to have her here, because she's an amazing artist. She, and of course Lele Glitter, they're amazing artists. They have a lot of theoretical background and musical background that I have no idea about, and they have these amazing ideas, and I can't wait to have them on the studio. Actually, right now they are already doing magic on their home studio, because I already heard some of the recordings they're making. And I remember listening to the first record, and I was so amazed. I was blown away. So I was thinking, okay, this is amazing for a first record ever, for a person who has absolutely no background on recording, for someone to do this. They even played with the stereo and everything. I was,
Yeah.
wow, I was so happy with it. I was so proud of them too, because I was the one who's okay. You can there's a free software you can use. It's called Audacity. You can use this and you can download it from here. I guide them along the process, and seeing someone do this, it's just like so fulfilling inside. It makes me so happy for them, and knowing that I'm giving back. I learned a lot by myself, and so I guess that's why I'm so open of helping people. Is just because I always back on myself and thinking, I wish I would have someone who helped me when I was trying to figure this out. And I always try to keep it very humble and available for people. It's not always easy, of course, because I have my work and I have all my projects, but I always try to keep myself available for everyone, because I know how hard it is. I know how hard it is. And I know it's hard to think you're alone and thinking that you can't do it. And sometimes all it takes is one person saying, "Yes, you can do it. I did it, so you can do it too." And that's so, so powerful. And I have some people, not many people, but I do have some people. Larissa is one of those people that I do help, not on a daily basis, but they know I'm here when they need help, being opinion, being feedback, being how can I set this up, and I'm there and I try to help them. And if I can't help them, I send them to someone who can. I've sent some people your way, Tom.
Yep.
because, because I know you don't mind helping people as well. So I do that, because I know sometimes it's so good to get back to people and help people. And some artists do kind of forget about that, and I just don't want to be that artist. I want to be that artist that down to her, and just on the same level as everyone else, no matter how far I go, guys. And this is like something that it's set in stone on my principles and my heart and my mind. No matter how far I go, I will always know that I'm just at the same level. We have a saying in Portuguese that says, "We all born from the same place, and when we die, we all go to the same place." So it doesn't matter where you come from, doesn't matter the color of your skin, your gender, your sexual orientation. You go to the same place, man. So, what's the point of acting like you're so important? So I just want to be down to earth all my life, and that's something that I take very seriously, and I try to live by that principle every day of my life.
No, perfect. And Sandra's probably going to kill me for saying this, but there is another project in the works, isn't there, coming out of Bullet HQ and CMV Studio? There is another little one in the pipeline at the moment. That's all I'm going to say on that one for now, but just keep your eye out on what's happening with that one. I cannot wait for this next project. We're talking about it.
Oh my god, it's a huge one, and actually we'll have someone else aboard. There will be a third party collaboration. So very excited.
That's going to be
Very
a lot of work in that, but I'm really,
Yes.
really looking forward to it.
Yes, that will be. I'm super excited about it too. And the third artist, I won't reveal who the third artist is,
No.
but actually we met before. He's now a streamer also on sessions, but when we met, he wasn't a streamer, and he was actually one of my biggest supporters for a while before he also decided to go live on sessions and become a streamer. Well, same thing as you, Tom. You started being one of the supporters, and then you joined the gang, the
Yeah.
sessions gang. So but it's so amazing seeing artists supporting artists, and I think that's part of the magic of sessions. Just seeing artists helping artists. That's really big.
And that's absolutely fantastic. And that's why I do these interviews as well, is to sort of help all the artists out that are out there.
Yeah.
Obviously, it pulls people through to my channel, which is the underlying sort of marketing
Yeah.
there,
And
but it's to help the
it's
artists out.
amazing, Tom. What you're doing here, it's amazing. And you started with the fan art videos, and that's also very, very amazing. And I'm sure, and I'm not talking this only for myself. I know I'm talking this because I know every artist feels the same. Every artist appreciates all the support, fan art videos, collaborations. You being there or on so many streamings and helping so many artists. It's not going. I mean, it's not going in vain. Okay, it's at least for me, it's not. It's here, and I do feel that I do feel so grateful for meeting so many people online, all through sessions, all through streaming.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
people say you're just streaming. Oh, nobody else. What's the point?
No,
There's
it's not
a
that
huge
at all.
point in it. So
No, exactly.
just
Well,
too
that just
busy saying thank
yeah,
you very much, Tom. See.
yeah, no, exactly. Well, that just about wraps things up for this next edition of CMV Studio interviews. Sandra, thank you so much for joining me and taking extended time out to do that, because I know you've got a hugely busy schedule with all of your
It was my
streaming and
pleasure.
video work.
It was my pleasure, Tom. And and I have to apologize. We were supposed to have done it sooner, but my internet was down, and I had almost to murder someone to get my internet back on track. Anyway, back. Bullets is back. The bullets back.
Yeah.
And so yeah, and we have to start on our t-shirt business. That's also one
Yes,
of our
exactly.
upcoming projects.
Yeah, that's one of the projects that's coming up. That's it. That is in the pipeline. So, guys,
Totally in the pipeline.
thank you so much for joining me. TMV interviews will be back some point very soon. We do have some more artists in the pipeline. I cannot wait for the rest of these to come up. But for now, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you very, very soon. Bye
Bye,
bye.
everyone.